Every cruiser has to be willing to try new things. After all, nearly everything will be new to you when you set out. But what might be even more important is learning to feel comfortable doing new things badly. I'm Carolyn Sherlock, and on this episode of the Boat Galley Podcast, I'll share how accepting that you won't be good at everything, at least at first, will make for a much happier cruising experience. Hey, want to sample the live-aboard lifestyle before committing to it? Captain Suki Cannon at Shambhala Sailing Adventures has the experience for you. Explore the Bahamas paradise while enjoying Captain Suki's easygoing teaching style. Shambhala Sailing, way more than just a charter. Use coupon code SAILPARADISE for 10% off your next adventure. Check ShambhalaSailingAdventures.com to learn more. Let's go sailing. Quite some time ago, I wrote about the willingness to try new things being a cruising skill, and one you could practice in the years or months leading up to untying the dock lines. Well, my friend Pamela Webster added a wonderful comment about an associated skill. I loved it. We talked back and forth. Finally, I asked if she'd be willing to elaborate in a post because her thoughts were just so perfect for all of us who are a little fearful of trying something new in case, we aren't wonderful at it. Here's what Pam wrote, and there's also a link in the show notes to her blog. She writes, "Something wagging this way comes," which talks about living aboard with a large dog. Anyways, here's what Pam said. Not enough people who write advice for wannabe cruisers highlight the need to be willing to try new things. Because when you move on to a boat, nearly everything will be new to you. But really, that's not the heart of the issue. Not only do you have to be willing to try new things, you have to be willing to stink at them while you improve your skills. And until you get better, stinking will result in near misses, boat damage, and bruises. But the pain of scratching your hull or breaking a toe is nothing compared to the emotional pain that accompanies the discomfort some people feel when doing stuff badly. I got a lot of practice being a bad sailor when I started lessons at the community sailing program in my mid-40s. Although I could describe the Bernoulli effect and how it caused a sailboat to move forward, to this day, I still don't understand it in a concrete way. After the 100th time pushing the tiller the wrong way from where I wanted to go, my only source of hope that I would ever improve came from something my first instructor told me. Don't get discouraged. I find that people who take the longest to figure things out are usually really good sailors once the information clicks. That encouragement kept me going with sailing until it did click. And when each new skill found its place in my muscle memory, sailing felt more natural. Says Pam, "From the start, my husband was a much better sailor than me. His superior grasp of physics and geometry made him a stronger boater than me from the very beginning. But my husband lacked one emotional skill that made cruising a special challenge for him, while to me it felt natural." Said Pam, "My husband has the blessing, or perhaps curse, of doing many things well, much better than the average person. But with few serious struggles, he's never learned to deal with doing things badly. On land, if Mike found something hard, he'd just avoid it. Why make yourself miserable stinking at something you don't have to do? And besides, it's easy to pay other people to do things for you that you do poorly or don't enjoy. But cruising, you don't have that luxury. Even in our far from remote cruising grounds of the Atlantic Intercoastal Waterway and the Chesapeake Bay, we've had to rely on ourselves to fix a finicky outboard or deal with a furling jib that often gets hung up at just the wrong time. And when solutions didn't come easily, my husband experienced a lot of frustration. Says Pam, Our boat served as the setting for a creative range of curses, the likes of which have probably never been heard over such relatively minor issues. In contrast, I came to cruising expecting it to be hard and knowing I would stink at it. I assumed that most things would start out hard, and over time I would get better at them. After all, I started out stinking at just getting the boat to move under sail. But every time I docked without an engine or trimmed the sails so that the telltales fluttered perfectly, I felt a sense of accomplishment. I expected the same growth curve for cruising, too. And because I didn't dissolve into a puddle of self-hatred every time I bumped a dock or failed to bring a mud-covered anchor up solo the first time I tried, I felt free to notice things I actually was doing well. Pam adds, I feel a great sense of accomplishment at hand-steering a straight compass course in a rough Georgia Sound, or suggesting the solution that quickly helped us unwrap the anchor rod from our keel in a confused anchorage. Expecting to be bad at cruising skills and not let it defeat you gives you emotional room to notice and feel a sense of pride when your skills do improve. And when the next skill comes along, because cruising is a never-ending skills test, I tell myself, you're going to stink at it. Do it anyways. If you ask my husband, you'll find that I'm not always a Zen master of calm when things go badly. Luckily, he loved me enough to follow my cruising dream, despite his discomfort with the learning curve and my less than perfectness. And I've been privileged to watch his growth in the essential skill of feeling comfortable with doing stuff badly. To be honest, says Pam, I don't think any skill is more important for cruisers than the ability to feel relatively comfortable doing things badly, at least until your skills and knowledge base improve. Being able to do things badly is a skill you need no matter how many years you cruise, because every cruiser will continually face challenges to their skills. Now, since we moved on board, we've learned about weather, currents, anchoring, navigation, diesel engines, electrical systems, more than we ever could have imagined. But I don't think any skill has been more important to us than being willing to stink at new things without making you want to give up. I will add, this is Carolyn again, that I agree 100% with Pam. Being willing to stink at new things is a critical skill. And by the way, Pam isn't just a friend of mine. She's also part of the Boat Galley team, being my virtual assistant, and I really appreciate her work. We couldn't do it without her. Anyways, if you'd enjoyed this episode of the Boat Galley podcast, please sign up for it, subscribe in your favorite podcast app, and perhaps tell a friend or two. Thanks.